Hello, this is the Burt Locker, and I am Burt Green. This is a fight casuals guide to UFC Atlantic City. The UFC is in Atlantic City. Boardwalk Empire, baby. I absolutely love this fight card. It's actually really, really good. You've got some cracking fights on there. In case you didn't know, they snuck Chris Weidman against Bruno Silva on there, Vicente Luque against Shaquin Buckley, Aaron Blanchfield obviously taking on Manon Fiorot in the main event, and then there's some really good up-and-comers. Nursultine Rizaboev is one to keep an eye on. Undrikani's back in there. It's going to be a fun night of fights. This is actually a fight card I'm very excited about. So I'm going to go through the entire fight card from top to bottom, information on every single fighter, every single fight. So let's go. UFC Atlantic City Casuals Guide. Right, let's start with Pacheco versus, well, Angel against Kieran Loughnan. It's a really, I think it's Kieran. I think it's pronounced Kieran. I've seen him in Cage Warriors a bunch of times. I don't know how to say his name properly. I can only apologise. Anyway, these were the bantamweights. So Pacheco, he's actually 7-2. He's not 0-1. All finishes, and he is not the running back for the Kansas City Chiefs. I did check. He gets standing punches a lot. He's got 2 rear naked chokes on his record. Loughran, he's a kid that I saw in Cage Warriors a lot, built like an absolute unit. I like to call him the Irish Muscle Shark because he reminds me of Sean Shirk a little bit. 8 wins, 7 finishes, 5 knockouts, 2 submissions with 2 rear naked chokes. Exactly the same as Pacheco, actually. It looks like Pacheco might be coming down from 145 pounds, so he might be the slightly bigger guy. Well, taller anyway. He's not going to be more stacked than Loughnan. Look at him. Look at the size of him. Anyway, I think that power and strength will probably go on the side of Loughnan. I'm going to roll the dice with that. I think a decision for Loughnan in that one. Then you've got Andre Petroski against Jacob Malkoun in the middleweights. So you've got Petroski, he's a Daniel Gracie brown belt. He's got 4 submissions on his record, 2 decisions, 4 knockouts. That's not bad, actually. He's beaten some good people, actually. So, like a couple of people like Wellington Turman, Gerald Meerschat, and he lost to Michel Pereira, which is that's not a horrible loss. He's a very solid athlete. You look at, he's put together well. He's strong. He's kind of skilled everywhere, honestly. Now, Malkoun is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and he's out of Australia. So look, he's got no submissions on his record, which is a little bit weird because he is a black belt. But hey, it doesn't always transfer into MMA completely. I'm going to take Petroski in this one just because I think he's going to be the slightly better athlete, and I think the ground and pound and the athleticism are going to help him on the ground. I do think it goes to the ground, actually. And I like the submission. I like the brown belt to submit the black belt in this one. I know. Call me crazy. Call me crazy. Then you've got Victoria Dudakova against Melissa Gatto. Now, Victoria Dudakova, she's that Russian phenom. She's hot as hell. She's got everything. She's hot as hell. She's a great kickboxer. Very, very good kickboxer. Really good wrestler. She shot this double leg takedown in I think it was in her UFC debut, and her opponent posted, snapped her arm. Anyway, I do. She's got 4 submissions, 2 knockouts, 2 decisions. She's also, yeah, she's just really, really good, honestly. Anyway, Gatto, she's not coming out there to lose. She's out of Brazil. She's also got 4 submissions, 2 knockouts, just like Dudakova. She does have 2 losses in her last 2 fights. For me, Dudakova is probably going to win this one. She's being fed these people to just kind of bolster her record, and we're going to see big things out of Victoria Dudakova, I do believe. Then you've got Ibo Aslan against Anton Turkalj. Turkalj? I don't really know. Anyway, Aslan, god damn. Aslan is not 1-0 as the website suggests. No. Right? He's actually he's named after a goddamn lion. If you know the Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, Aslan's the name of the lion. So I'm calling him the lion. He's the lion. Anyway, first team all body, handsome as all hell. 12 wins, 12 knockouts. Right? He's called the last Ottoman, the final Ottoman, if you will. I'm presuming they're talking about the empire, not the footstool. He don't look like a footstool to me, and I really don't think. I think he's going to be a real problem. He's nasty. Turkalj, the Swede, as I like to call him. Now his nickname is the Pleasure Man. It's what I always remember that. Every time I see this guy, it's like, oh, the Pleasure Man's back in town. It kind of sounds like he's a 90s porn star, the Pleasure Man. Anyway, 5 knockouts, 2 submissions. He's big for light heavyweight. He's 6'4". You know what? This is going to be a good fight, honestly. I do like the newcomer to take out the Pleasure Man, but the Pleasure Man could easily spoil the party. You never know. But my money is going to go on Aslan by knockout in that one. Then you've got Denis Bazukja against Conor Matthews in the featherweights. So look, you've got Bazooka. His nickname should be the Bazooka. Bazooka, the Bazooka. I don't know. Anyway, he's got lots of decisions. No UFC wins yet. He should change his nickname. Matthews, he's actually 7-1, not 1-1. Bad news, solid nickname. So look, he's called Bad News. I wasn't saying that was bad news. Conor Matthews' nickname is Bad News. I should clarify. 5 submissions. That's where he's strongest. I'm going to take Matthews by submission in that one. I don't think Bazooka has got much for him. Then Julio Arce against Julio Arce. Sorry, shouldn't laugh. We're all adults here, okay? Julio Arce against not Gilbert Burns, sorry, his brother, Herbert Burns. This is in the featherweights. So, Arce, he's been in the UFC since 2017. Where the hell has he been? He's not someone that I immediately recognise, but he's got some really good wins. He beat Dan Ige. And Julian Erosa. I don't think he gets the hype that he deserves, honestly. Now, Herbert Burns, he's the other Burns brother. It looks like Gilbert took up most of the talent because, I'll be honest, Herbert hasn't looked great. He retired versus Bill Algeo. Look, he's obviously elite at Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but if he gets put under pressure, he usually folds. And that's not me being nasty. That's just an observation. Just observing. Anyway, that being said, Arce by decision, most likely. Werner Jandiroba against Lupe Godinez. This is a really fun fight, actually. You've got the ladies' strawweights here. Now, Werner, she's a tough fighter, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and that is where she is strongest. She's got 13 submissions on her 19 wins. No secret where she's trying to take that one. Godinez has no quit in her. She fights all the time. Sometimes to her detriment, though. But she's just a worker. She just goes. She's skilled everywhere. She's got heart for days. This is a good fight on paper, but I do like Jandiroba. Probably by decision. Godinez, I don't know, either decision or submission, I think, in that one. Godinez, she's got too much heart, but she fights reckless and she leaves openings. I think those openings could maybe lead to a submission, because Jandiroba, she is absolutely elite on the ground. Nate Landwehr against Jamal Emmers is the prelim headliner. That is in the featherweight division. Landwehr is a side fighter that he used to just rely on his hands, but actually he's got a couple of submissions now, like anacondas and stuff like that. So he knows what he's doing on the ground. He's got side power and very good, what I like to call MMA grappling. He mixes it in with the striking really well. Now Emmers, he's really well rounded. He finishes half of his wins on the ground. He's got good stopping power, right? He does get a lot of knockouts. 50% of his wins are by knockout. So slight reach advantage, and he's probably going to use that. I'm going to take the slight reach and the slight youth advantage of Emmers here by a decision. I don't think it'll be the most spectacular fight, but it'll be good fun. Chidi Njoukani and Reece McKee kick off the main card. So 22 and 10. Yeah, Chidi, man, he's a very powerful prospect. He's a Muay Thai kickboxer, effectively. He hit a bit of a rough patch when he got knocked out by Gregory Rodriguez, Robocop. But he's really, really good. He's on a 3-fight losing streak, but when you look at him, he's got 14 knockouts on 22 wins. Don't sleep on Chidi Njoukani. His skill level is far better than his record suggests, honestly. Now, Reece McKee, it seems like the UFC hate him. His nickname is Skeletor. Maybe that's why. Terrible nickname. Hopefully he goes around just, doing Skeletor impressions like they do on Call of Duty when you have the Skeletor skin. He's got marking contract. It's like that. I wonder if that's how Reese McKee talks. Anyway, look, yeah, they threw Reese McKee to Hamzat Chimaev, and then they threw him to Lusa, Morono, and now they're throwing him to Njoukani. I don't know, it's a rough schedule, man. I like Njoukani here. McKee has struggled with the more athletic guys, and Njoukani is that. I will go as far as to say that. Then you've got Bill Algeo against Carl Nelson. Bill Algeo, we mentioned earlier, beat up Herbert Burns. So Algeo, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt. He's also got great ground and pound. He will hit the hell out of you when you're on the ground. He's really good fun to watch. Carl Nelson, well-rounded Canadian. He looks way scarier with no hair. He's got a picture of himself with hair on his shirt dog, and he looks weird. This is a much better look for him. He looks like a twice divorced lumber mill foreman. Honestly, that's the kind of energy that Carl Nelson is bringing to this one. He's kind of good in every area. He's not elite in kind of any area. I'm going to roll the dice on the black belt here. I think that Nelson doesn't mind grappling, but I think that will come at a cost if you're doing that with Bill Algeo. Either a decision or submission for Bill Algeo there for me. Then you've got Nursultan Ruziboev against Cedriques Dumas. Now, this is a very, very interesting fight. You've got the middleweights. And I had to double check that because Nursultan Ruziboev is 6'5". 6'5" middleweight. That is mental. He's an absolute monstrous human being. And it's like his 48th fight. What the hell, dude? 20 career submissions. He loves a Kimura and an armbar. He's got some good knockouts. He's a scary, scary dude out of Uzbekistan. Anytime you get a giant fighter with loads of submissions and scary knockouts from any country that ends in stan, generally speaking, they're a pretty safe bet. Then you've got Cedriques Dumas. Now he looks scary. Well, he looks like one of these new age rappers that I don't like. These Takeshi's Castle, Takeshi 6ix9ine. I don't know any of these clowns, but he's definitely got the look. Like, he's got all the face tattoos. He looks like he's a little bit strung out, which adds to the kind of fear factor. He wouldn't look out of place like on one of the. If you ever seen The Wire, he looks like he lives in Amsterdam. If you've seen The Wire, you understand that reference. Anyway, Dumas, he looks like mad scary, but honestly, he's not going to be as scary as Ruziboev. Ruziboev probably takes this one. I actually quite like the Kimura in this one. I don't know if you can bet on that specifically, but I might give it a go. Then you've got Chris Weidman versus Bruno Silva. I love this fight. Not for Chris Weidman, honestly, but I do love this fight. So you've got Weidman, obviously, we all know him. He's absolutely elite. He's got elite wrestling. He's got Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt under Matt Serra. He's a legend of the sport, former champion, but his prime has come and gone. I would say, with the greatest of respect. He's not put together a good win streak in quite a while. He lost to Tavares in his comeback, and this is another tough fight. There are no easy fights for Chris Weidman. And Bruno Silva is a savage kickboxer, right? 23 wins, 20 knockouts. He's a monster, right? He can get caught out, but it's because he's an absolute monstrous kickboxer. And he sometimes leaves openings, but offensively, he's really good. He took Pereira to a decision, and all they did was kickbox the whole time. Let's be fair. And Pereira had no business being at middleweight. The size discrepancy was ridiculous. Bruno Silva, he's really good. He's way better than he gets credit for. And I don't know, I like the KO for Silva in this one. I feel like Chris Weidman was one of the best there is. Legend of the sport, absolute pioneer. Beat Anderson Silva. He's done so many great things. I don't know if I want to see him still fighting, honestly. It just feels like, I don't know, this one could get nasty. And then you got Vicente Luque taking on Jacqueline Buckley? Anyway, Yeah, so Vicente Luque, obviously we know him. He's been around a while. He's got great grappling, great boxing. He's just an absolute dog. He dominated at RDA, which is very, very impressive. That was an impressive win because he used a lot of wrestling mixed in. He fought very smart, smarter than we've seen him in a while. Now Buckley, he's all chest. Look at that chest. He's got so much power in that chest. Unorthodox strikes, really fun kicks. He's just got power for days. He really does. 17 wins, 12 knockouts. I think overall, Vicente Luque is going to be too much here. I think he's going to have too many options. He's going to probably fight smart like he did against RDA. I think he's going to take Bucky down. I quite like the submission there, honestly. If you're looking at Vicente Luque, he gets a lot of submissions. And that's what I'm going with. Then you've got Erin Blanchfield against Manon Fiorot. Blanchfield, she's cold-blooded. She's a very strong grappler. She's got great submissions. She's got Andrade, Molly, and JJ Aldrich all by submissions, 3 in a row in the UFC. That is difficult to do. That's very hard. And Foro, she's on a great run. She beat Rose Namajunas. I didn't expect her to do so. She's a karate/Muay Thai background. She's got very good striking. The jury is out on the grappling. And that is why I like Blanchfield by submission in that one, because on the ground, it's going to be very, very different levels. And I think Blanchfield will get to the ground and find the submission. And that is UFC Atlantic City, baby. Anytime I go to Atlantic City, it's usually a good card. This is a good card. Very, very fun. Last week's one wasn't blowing my skirt up. This one, absolutely love it. I'll be doing some terrible bets on Saturday, doing my MMA scratch card, betting forecasts all over the place. And until next time, keep the odds long and the bets terrible.